Sometimes when you're not organized, the best thing to do is just hit that go live button. Things tend to sort themselves out. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos, coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. Today we are going over the Abby and Libby case out of Delphi, Indiana. We'll get going here in just a few moments. Good to see you, Cindy. Mary C., Cynthia De La Fuente, Beth Gonzalez. Yeah, this is an actual photo. This is from the part of the interview that Holman tried to delete. We found it. Holman is definitely a large American, a formidable foe. I believe he's like a champion wrestler and a coach. Coached a lot of champions. Good to see you, Metal Mama. What do you mean talking about the ER? Give me a little bit more. I might be able to answer that question. Jari, what's up? Eminem, what up? Patricia Warner, hello. Purple Haze, good to see you. Julianne, Miss Dogliver, how are you? Happy birthday. Happy belated. Oh, to be 21 again. Connie, Rain Dancer, Saska, Molly, and Robin B. Right by the beach, man. What's up, sees through? Okay, here are some of the things I want to talk about today. Okay, I think we should start with how the hell did they even get on to Richard Allen? Oh, we were just going back to the beginning and we found a lost tip. Bullshit. I think that's where Keegan Kline comes in. Somewhere he has something to do with that. I don't go quoting me on that. That's just the way I feel about it. That's not a fact. And then Richard Allen was not the first search warrant, right? Dozens. We're going to talk about that. And what was different about Richard Allen's routine search warrant? What was different? I'll let you guys answer that. And then a whole lot more. We're going to look at some cases of actual law enforcement and some serious investigators tampering with evidence. We're talking seasoned veterans being busted, caught red-handed. Some taking drugs, some folks removing evidence in murder cases for their loved ones. Some serious shit. One hell of an accusation would require a whole lot of evidence. In these cases, I'm going to show you they have a lot of evidence. And then throughout this entire live stream, we can talk about what happened with the recent document drop, Richard Allen and Holman's interview here. And remember, you got to constantly consider the source. Who wrote those documents? Good to see you, Phil Bond, Julianne, Timmy, Sparky. You're welcome. Happy birthday. Julia Burns, hello. Are you looking for any new true crime? Yes, I am, guys. Now, we've been super busy with Delphi and some other cases that we've been looking at recently. We haven't had time for true crime in the morning. I was just thinking about that today. I was like, man, I really wish I had something that we could invest some time in for that. It's been a while, almost 2 weeks. I was thinking about maybe doing one on Sebastian. I just hate to see all the drama when it starts to surround a case. I hate that part. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Sparky. My prayers go out to you. Hang in there. Hey, Molly, found something in the river, and the couple of people like TTKK and another guy being arrested, KK brought to Grissom and let go real quick, which led to what? I don't know. Who pointed them to the river? Yeah, it's just so strange. The day that the river search started, they took Keegan Klein into custody and they made a real big deal about everything. I mean, you'll never have access to that conversation unless it's pulled into the Delphi case. Everything was sealed. I was on papers that Frank Meister released on the 15th talking about Richard Allen and then the ER interrogation. Oh, are you talking about the interview with Holman? Is that the same one? Are we talking about the same thing? Sorry, I'm a little confused about that. $81 degrees, nice. It's about what we're working with. I appreciate that. And Robin says justice for Abby and Libby and their families. Thank you, Robin. Sensei, what's up? Jody Lynn. Yeah, today's going to be kind of just a laid back discussion. So we're going to talk about who really tipped in Richard Allen, what really put him under the radar. Richard Allen was not the first search warrant. They served dozens, right? It was just going to be a routine search. Whatever led to the tip, I don't think they expected anything to happen. They served dozens of search warrants. And just like all these other folks, they went in, did an interview, searched the home, searched the property, took the firearms, did the analysis on it, did a comparison. Nothing. Okay, we'll go on to the next. So we have dozens of these cases going on. Search warrant after search warrant. What's different with Richard Allen? Let me know in the chat. What is different about this search warrant? Oh, also, we'll talk about violating people's rights in cases that have been let off on technicalities. Remember, who said it from the beginning that they will eventually go to the technicality? Remember, that's all they're looking for, guys. And it does not mean that they won't find it. But they like to build straw men. You know, like it's a diversion tactic. Yeah, don't play around with the NATOs. What's up, Heidi? Hey, shout out to Delphi. Hey, you got it. Shout out to Delphi, Indiana. Molly says, I need to read through the documents. I have them right here. I read them twice. Here, let me put them up on the screen for you. You guys want to talk about them? So, in my opinion, it is a big deal. You know, not reading the Miranda rights and things like that, but I don't really know a whole lot about it. To me, I feel like that was violating his rights. But then again, I always thought it was after you were arrested. Like, hey, we're arresting you. Now we're going to read you your Miranda. Because I know that cops don't walk up to you and say, well, don't talk to me unless you have your attorney. Like that's for you to decide. I'm not here to give you a lesson. I'm here to take advantage of your ignorance if I can. That's what cops do in those interrogation rooms. What's up? Anything I like? So yeah, we're going to talk about that. And also, what do you expect a guilty person to say? He has fooled law enforcement this long. Why not during these interviews? What is different? So they don't want to go to trial because he's most likely a guilty person, but they are trying to exploit any technical issue that may come up, any violation. And that's what law enforcement's been warning everybody about. Like they basically said, well, now the real work starts, you know. Something else here we're going to talk about. Why risk tampering with evidence? Why would you risk that? Now we're going to look at some actual cases of seasoned veteran, serious law enforcement investigators. We're talking 18, 20 years on the force, being caught red-handed tampering with evidence. In some cases, murder trials. Let me go here to a couple more notes. Why didn't we know about Richard Allen? And why did he look like this? You see the thumbnail I put together? Why does he look like that during his interviews in 2022? Look how weird he looks. Like this dude is definitely hiding. No social media. Nothing. Why don't we know? Why didn't we know about Richard Allen? We knew about DP. There's plenty of conversations you can see with him online where he's talking about being at the trails and how weird social media is and people who keep talking about him and accusing him of being the killer. Right? We knew who he was. We knew about JP. We knew about Shelby and Cheyenne. We knew about Brian and Jesse. We knew about the 3 young witnesses, thanks to Doug Rice. We knew about the young bridge guy sketch being done just 2 days after the murders took place. We knew about the hitchhiker witness who stated not blue eyes, and we knew it was a woman. But why didn't we know about Richard Allen? I think that's a good question. After 6 years of trying to figure out who the hell this guy was, we knew everything about what was going on that day. Maybe not everything. We knew a lot, though. I mean, we dug up everything. There's not really a whole lot that we didn't know other than Richard Allen. Why is that? If he was an innocent person and just going down there to follow up with law enforcement, we would know more about him. I believe that that was done by design. So we can talk about that if you want. Okay, so they get the lost tip narrative, and now you have big bad Jerry Holman trying to punk Richard Allen and threaten to put him in a full Nelson. Right. And remember, just 2 years, what was it, 2 years prior to this? 2 or 3? I think, yeah, 3 years. Doug Carter stood on a stage and said, or at one point he stated that he definitely he thinks he has a family, and what will those closest to you think when they find out you killed those 2 girls? So Holman's just piggybacking off of that here. You're going to drag your fucking wife and your daughter through this because you're too fucking bullheaded. Because right here, Holman knows that he's a guilty man. He knows it. But why? You guys still haven't told me what was different about Richard Allen's search that didn't really happen didn't happen at all in those dozens of searches. What was different? Initials ER. They were just talking about another case. Because usually, if you can quote a case from the Supreme Court, you don't need to go through the process. They've already done it. You just use it as an example. So they're trying to say, hey, they ruled in ER's favor that his rights were violated, and it's very similar to what Richard Allen is going through at this very moment. Kind of saves the judge and the court some time. Ooh. Yeah, the hailstorms can do some real damage. I've seen some doozies. I've seen a car insurance nightmare happen right in front of me. Remember driving by the car lots, looking at all those Mercedes out there, dents in them, broken windows, softball size hail. All right, says, and whatever the fuck happened out there, we'll never know because you're too big of a fucking. Yeah, but he's really not showing any remorse if he's a guilty man. But once again, that's what I had here in my notes. Like, what do you expect him to say? What do you expect? You expect him to be like, "Yep, I did it. Give me the death penalty." No, I have a feeling he took a lot of precautions not to get caught. I'll ask the question again. Why did we not know about Richard Allen? If he's just some guy, right? He's not just some guy. He's some guy that was there right around the time that the girls went missing. Whether he left at 1:30 or not. The girls got there right around 1:30. Why didn't we know about him? What's up, Jerry and Jari? Yeah, we're gonna look at that too, Molly. I bookmarked a couple articles. Let me see. They will be relevant to what we're talking about here. Just want to give you the titles. Murder conviction voided over Miranda rights violation. And then some information about what happens when police failed to read Miranda rights. When police failed to read Miranda rights. Sparky says he was never told he couldn't leave, right? No, but didn't you see this? Holman would have crushed his skull if he moved an inch. Look at the madness in his eyes. That's pure rage. And a little Photoshop. Marsh says, Sleuth, I can't believe I've been listening to your lives and following you for 3 years now. Long time we've invested in the Delphi daughters. Let's hope this is over very soon and they get justice. I think it will be over very soon. But I just want to paint a picture of who we're dealing with here. Okay, did anybody answer the question of the day? Let me see. Let me browse through the chat real quick. What was different about Richard Allen? Hey, criminality, what up? Maybe you can tell me what was different. There was dozens of search warrants. What was different about Richard Allen's search warrant?
Of course, the search warrant could also clear him in this investigation. Now, police will not say what specifically led them here today, but they do caution everyone against jumping to conclusions.
It's just a normal course of this investigation. As we talked before, this isn't the first search warrant we have served, and if you go by the social media sites, we'd have 1,000 people in jail by now.
Hey, take it easy, Tony.
So we're just letting people know, let the investigation run its course, and this might not be the last search warrant we serve. It's part of investigating a double homicide.
Okay. That's probably what they were saying on their way over to Richard Allen's house. Routine search warrant. Dumbass Kagan Klein and his lies again. But let's check it out.
Now, in total, investigators note they have now served roughly a dozen search warrants in this case without...
Dozen search warrants. What was different? Hey, I knew you would answer. I knew you would know. The unspent round matched Richard Allen's gun. That is the difference. If that did not happen, we probably wouldn't even know who Richard Allen is still. So I don't think even if they told him he could leave, I don't think he was ever leaving that police station. Not with that information. They might make it seem that way, so he'll keep talking. But no matter what, he's leaving in cuffs. The whole car stuff was just to get him back there. Good job, guys. Good job. Remember, the ego, the same thing that caused this man to go out there and kill these girls and think he can get away with it, is the same thing that got his ass caught. It's kind of like a saying here on the Sleuth Intuition channel. The same thing that causes these people to do what they do will be the same thing, will be their demise in the end. Right? His ego. As soon as they brought him into that office and let him go, he should have destroyed that gun. But he couldn't. Why couldn't he? Well, he's the bridge guy. And that's the gun in the video. Guarantee he was on all these social media sites, loving it. They don't know who I am. Yeah, okay, they might be getting closer. I'm in this interview right now. I took steps. I took measures not to get caught. I took him down to that creek right there, put him through the water. I did my homework. We're good. They don't have anything on me. But they did. And that's why Holman put his belly on Rick Allen. Because he knew it doesn't matter now. You are the bridge guy. Or you know who is. But see, I don't think you're a bad person. Bullshit. What kind of good person kills two people? This is some of that Keegan Kline bullshit talk, right? Very similar. What kind of a good person kills two people? Instead of saying that, he should have said, I'm leaving. He says, you're going to pay for what you've done to my wife. That's kind of scary. You're going to pay. That might be part of the real Rick right there. You're going to pay for what you did. What did he do at this point? Was it just like interviewing her, coming to her job, putting him in handcuffs? Like what did they do to her specifically? Just accusing her husband maybe? See, I feel like that's what this has all been about, protecting her. This whole time. You're going to pay for what you've done to my wife. We've already talked about what happened. I didn't mean to hurt those girls. And now you're going to ruin our lives? There's nothing we can do now. There's no bringing them back. It's almost like this is all he's ever really cared about. Protecting his wife. What do you guys think? Welcome in the Saint, Saska Rose, Anna, always good to see you. Lisa. The Saint says, police can lie, shouting, and swear. It's no big deal. And the tactic that Richard Allen's defense team uses is it kind of works like this. They give you a scenario that sounds awful. And the scenario that they're giving you, it is awful. There's nothing about it that's not bad or that couldn't get a case thrown out. The only problem is it's never really true. So the outrage is real because you're buying into the story. You know, Richard Allen's being tortured and this, and that. Look, he's being set up. Which he could be, but that's an awful crime. You got to have a lot of proof behind an accusation like that. And really, that's the only answer to this equation. There can only be two answers. They found the bullet on the 14th. We know that now. So either he left it or somebody planted it. Actually, there's three. Either he left it, somebody planted it, or somebody went into the evidence room and swapped it out. Jerry says, no, you're involved in this. Your fucking round is in there, Rick. Got you, buddy. We were just going to leave. We had no interest in you, Rick. But lo and behold, who would have thunk? No remorse. Why? To protect his old lady. You're guilty of something, you're guilty, and I know it. And I'm going to fucking prove it. Crazy eyes. Rick Allen was not free to leave as he was handcuffed and arrested on camera after over 2 hours and 40 minutes of denying involvement in the murders. So I don't know. Is that the point where they need to read him his rights? They didn't drag him down there. They might have tricked him. Unethical and illegal. Two different things. Hey, what's up, Don Spain? Roy, welcome in. Says somebody turned him in. It's got to be. I ain't buying the whole lost tip. There's a lot of weirdness behind it. They blamed the FBI for it, and the FBI put out a statement denying it. Good to see you, Don. Cindy. Who am I missing? Oh, the Royal We. I think I got something for you, Royal We.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, well, that's just like your opinion, man. Your opinion, man.
The Royal We. Unless you're not into the whole brevity thing. V. Marie says, good to see you, V. He was proactively protecting his reputation. Yeah, he was. That's why we never knew who he was. How do we know who everybody is except for the guy whose bullet matches? I mean, is there anything really that we didn't know about what was going on down there that day? We know more about the case than the defense team, really, it seems like. I think that's why they came up with such a shitty theory. But I think they're moving away from the shitty theory and onto the hopes of getting Richard Allen off on a technicality. Criminality says, I'm curious to know what Rick thinks was done to his wife. I'm going to say embarrassment, calling her husband a killer. He seems like a selfish person that might say that. Like, how dare you accuse me? Do you know what that's doing to my family? Like, how dare you call me out for being what I really am when I was hiding so good? Do you know what this is doing? Do you know what you're doing? Yeah, what kind of a good person kills two people? Strange thing to say. It's a bit bothersome. He lived, worked, and socialized that tiny town for 5+ years after the crime. Why not? Girls, kids, Abby and Libby, etc. Distancing. Hey, Rain Dancer. And Holman never thought that he is a good. Yeah, I agree. That was just an interview tactic. Okay, so now we know pretty much what happened. And the only answer is that law enforcement planted the bullet, right? That's it. That's the only explanation. Either they tampered with the evidence or they planted the bullet or it is Richard Allen's bullet. And he knows how it got there. Either one of his family members committed the murder and he knows it, he's taking the rap, or he was there that day. But either way, it belongs to him. They found it on the 14th, the day the girls were found. It can only be those three things. If it can be something else, let me know in the comments. So here, let's take a look at some of these videos. Let's start with one out of Indiana here. This one's titled Indianapolis Officers Arrest for Evidence Tampering.
Officer Francisco Olmos tampered with that.
So we're going to play a little devil's advocate, show that this kind of stuff does happen. It is a serious thing. And when charges are brought against officers, it's because they were caught on camera or red-handed.
Evidence, the charges may raise new questions about separate cases involving the officer.
The facts of this case are so very unusual.
Indian.
Don't mind this guy's eye. Here, maybe we'll do this. I don't know why, but it was bothering me. Sorry, dude. Not to make fun of your eye, but it's a little gross.
Indianapolis defense attorney Jack Crawford with the question countless defenders are now asking.
Why was he deleting the messages?
31-year-old Francisco Olmos arrested Thursday, charged with obstructing justice and computer trespass in a November 2015 death investigation.
It appears a police officer deleted text messages relative to his involvement with the victim of a suicide.
Olmos told investigators he met the woman 9 months before.
Yeah, isn't that creepy? So a woman that was suspected of committing suicide, an officer goes into the evidence room and deletes a conversation between himself and the girl. That would almost put him on the radar and maybe open up a new investigation to what really happened to this young lady. Because once again, why would you risk something like that over nothing? Oh, so you knew the girl. Big deal. Big deal. Now you're going to risk everything, your whole career, just to delete a conversation off her phone? No, it's something more.
For her death through IMPD's Explorers program for young people interested in policing. She was 18 when they met. Olmos told investigators he and the woman were friends and denied having an intimate relationship with her. The officer remained on duty for more than 2 years after allegedly erasing messages from the woman's phone. He was involved in nearly 400 police reports since then.
It's a significant problem anytime a police officer is alleged to have destroyed evidence in an official investigation.
The Marion County Prosecutor's Office now alerting the defense in every case Officer Olmos is involved in, telling them about this arrest and charges.
It affects his credibility as a witness. If the jury hears that he's been involved in withholding or destroying evidence in any kind of case, that's something that affects his ability to be credible in front of a jury.
The prosecutor's office says it has to review any pending prosecutions he's involved in, then decide whether he's an essential witness. Cases where he's not an essential witness can move ahead without him. Cases where he is essential could be potentially dismissed. An initial hearing in the case is set for tomorrow morning. Olmos is on immediate suspension with.
Damn. So, I mean, it's real. But you have to have evidence. Okay, here's another one. HPD officer arrested, accused of tampering with evidence.
Tonight with that Houston police officer accused of breaking the law. Julissa Diaz now off the job.
It is a drastic development for an officer who just 2 years ago was commended for her hard work on the force.
We were the first to tell you about this story with a breaking news push alert just before 6 o'clock this evening. Our Keith Garvin is joining us live at the county courthouse with more on this tonight. Keith?
Bill, Dominique, Julissa Diaz joined HPD in 2006. Her arrest this morning was in stark contrast to her career, in which she was recognized as a good officer and where she also served as a school task force officer working with students up until a few months ago. 37-year-old Julissa Diaz has gone from HPD officer to former officer accused of tampering with evidence related to narcotics. A source tells Channel 2 News a SWAT team arrested the 11-year veteran who lives in the city of South Houston during her overnight shift Thursday morning.
I'm shocked because I think police should be they should be at a higher standard. You know, they should do what they were sworn to do and uphold the law.
And Diaz was no ordinary officer. According to the Houston Police Officers Union, she was recognized as Patrol Officer of the Month in 2015 for apprehending 2 major drug dealers during a routine traffic stop. Her commendation said Diaz has always demonstrated a passion for making a difference and her dedication to duty. According to our source, Diaz worked the night shift at HPD's Clear Lake station. She was arrested by SWAT officers after a lengthy investigation by HPD's Narcotics Division. In response, Chief Art Acevedo said in a statement, Ms. Diaz's betrayal of the public trust and oath of office is inconsistent with the dedication of the men and women of the Houston Police Department and their tireless, honorable service. While we cannot overstate our depth of disappointment, we take solace in the fact the investigation that led to Ms. Diaz's arrest was conducted by men and women of the HPD, the same organization and co-workers she betrayed.
Let's see. Here's another one. Felicity, police officer accused of tampering with evidence.
Tonight.
Yeah, a police captain accused of tampering with evidence in this case, and if he's convicted, he could be heading to prison. Newside's Brian Hamrick.
If convicted, he will be bitch slapped in prison.
For 16 years, he's been arresting people here in Felicity. Now it's the captain of the force who faces charges. He enters the courtroom where he's been plenty of times before.
State of Ohio versus Delmas Pack Jr.
But never wearing this uniform. Delmas G. Pack Jr. is captain of the Felicity Police Department. But after being arrested, he's wearing the handcuffs on his wrists instead of his belt.
As a condition of any bond, the defendant be ordered to not have any firearms in his custody.
Pack is accused of tampering with evidence in a drug case in Felicity. Several
I think so, Eminem.
including BCI and the Warren County Drug Task Force did the investigation, but so far have not released specifics. In the community of Felicity,
small town, everybody knows everyone's business.
Reaction to the arrest runs the gamut. Some are stunned.
Yeah, what was going on with that dude's eye? It looked maybe like cancer, maybe?
Others
I'm not
say,
sure.
About time?
Really? Some people are saying it's about time something happened.
Not some people, a lot of people.
His file shows Pack has been with the Felicity Department since 1994, with police jobs in New Richmond and Bethel before that. Commended for his work on a home invasion case and catching some vandals. The file shows no disciplinary action.
And he has no prior bench warrants on our
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Molly.
Pack is out of jail on a $100,000 bond, so he won't be back in this uniform or any other until this case has been settled.
Man, that is some bullshit right there.
Officer of the Year arrested. Lieutenant Freddie Williams with the Marion, Arkansas Police Department is out on bond after being charged with evidence
18
of
years on the
tampering
force
and drug possession.
The charges are the result of a months-long investigation after fellow officers discovered drugs were missing from the department's evidence room. WMC Action News 5's Ali Herrera is live in Marion, Arkansas with the latest details. Ali.
Joe and Kanji, all of this came to light after 2 narcotics officers with the Marion Police Department set up hidden cameras and caught Lieutenant Freddie Williams in the act. Now, according to an affidavit, Williams admitted to stealing narcotics and marijuana from the evidence room, saying he was smoking the marijuana he stole. A well-decorated Marion police lieutenant now facing charges, suspected of stealing drugs from the department's evidence room.
There's no indication that he was taking them out to sell them or to damage any cases. It was just, I guess, personal use.
District Attorney Scott Ellington said back
Think
in
so,
December, two Marion narcotics officers told Police Chief Gary Kelly they had secretly recorded Lieutenant Freddie Williams stealing evidence.
Gotcha, bitch.
Those officers said they had suspicions of someone tampering with evidence in October. Court documents show their cameras caught Williams putting evidence in his pants. Williams works in the Criminal Investigation Department.
He had full access to the general evidence locker and was actually in charge of that, and would not normally have access to the narcotics locker.
Records show marijuana and prescription pills were missing from dozens of cases. Data showed Williams accessed the narcotics evidence room about 22 times in 2018.
Is Lieutenant Williams on the job right now? Is he still working with the police department?
Y'all don't understand nothing. You don't understand, don't have nothing to say.
There are some allegations made against your lieutenant, sir.
Back in
Y'all don't know. We like to
WMC
smoke
received
weed
a
too.
tip about these allegations against Williams. When asked,
Don't
Chief
you like
Gary Kelly
Oxycontin?
would not answer our questions. Days later, Kelly issued a statement saying an unnamed officer was under investigation by Arkansas State Police.
The full story hasn't been told yet, I think would be the best way to put it.
Robert Newcomb is representing Williams. He told us his client plans on entering a not guilty plea.
Let's go to the Saint, who can't seem to put two and two together here. A bit unfair judging Delphi cops over these cop sleuths. Come on, man. So you can't look at the whole picture. I'm not the problem, Saint. We're not comparing. We're saying that it is something that does happen. It is a real issue. And just because the defense is bringing up something that is real doesn't mean that that's what's happening in this case. So it looks like some of you have missed that point that I was trying to make. That might be my fault. But we will end here with this question for the chat. Why would somebody risk tampering with the evidence? Why plant the bullet? I hear a lot of talk about, oh, well, because I'm a Freemason and one of the real killers was a Freemason, so it's my duty. Now, if anybody believes that without any real evidence, even a little bit, I would reevaluate that and take a step back a little bit. Because if they've done a dozen searches and the only thing different with Richard Allen, it was going to be just a routine search. Thank you, Mr. Allen. Sorry to disturb you. We found nothing. Oh, no problem. I get it. I was there that day and I came forward too. I've been trying to help you guys out. Yeah, we know that's one of the reasons we came by. And once again, thank you for your help in the case. But that's not how it went. It didn't go routine. They did what they did in dozens of search warrants, and they compared the unspent shell to a firearm, and they found a match. That's it, guys. It's that simple. Now, the only answer that I can come up with, well, there's three that I can come up with. It's Richard Allen's. He was part of either by himself or a group of people that committed this murder. Somebody he knows used his firearm. Either way, he knows. He has that information. He knows how the bullet got there. Somebody planted it there on the 14th, knowing that before an election, they were going to set him up, right? They were going to strategically set him up. Or somebody went into the evidence locker and swapped out the bullets. One with the one they found there on the 14th and one with Richard Allen's. How they got it, I don't know. Apparently they came down the chimney on a rope, like Tom Cruise, laying flat, dropped it, and then went back up on to the roof. Like to see Tobe Lesenby do that. Or was it Shane Evans? So those were all my notes today, guys. So we'll spend probably the next 10 minutes talking about that. Surprised they haven't gotten rid of that. Sparky says in criminal cases, a spouse can choose to testify against the defendant's spouse. The defendant's spouse. But they cannot be forced to do so. That's my understanding. I thought that was like a federal thing. Oh, Lisa, that guy? Let me see if I can pull that back up. I didn't want to say anything. Are you talking about this guy? What's up, DP? This case reminds me more of the West Memphis 3, but I think there's just way too much evidence. It's the bullet for me. I have a feeling they weren't even sure that Richard Allen had anything to do with the crime. But they found that one piece. Yeah, you might be right too, Molly. And I don't know. Oh, you know what? Let me go pull up these articles real quick. I almost forgot. Okay, this one's titled Murder Conviction Voided Over Miranda Rights Violation. It's from the Los Angeles Times. 2013 article. A federal appeals court on Tuesday unanimously overturned a Norwalk man's first-degree murder convictions for killing his estranged wife and an off-duty Los Angeles sheriff's deputy, ruling that detectives failed to properly advise him of his legal rights before he confessed. Ruben Kenneth Lujan was sentenced to life without parole for killing his estranged wife, Monica, 26, and her friend, Deputy Gilbert Madrigal, who was 45, by smashing their heads with a concrete block. Lujan had previously been arrested for stalking and threatening Monica, who had left him 4 months before the 1998 killings. Madrigal was her neighbor, and Lujan suspected that he was dating him. So Richard Allen could be guilty and still get off. These lawyers do not plan to lose this case if they don't have to. They're looking for a technicality to get him off on. Remember, this is all chaos, and they're going to shake it till one of the nuts and bolts falls out. Lisa Shapiro Strauss, attorney at law. She writes here, what happens if the police forget to read my rights? Read me my rights. Miranda writes, the Miranda warning was written into U.S. law following the 1966 Miranda versus Arizona Supreme Court decision. The law states very clearly that before police interrogate a suspect, they must give the following warnings. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to the presence of an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you at no expense. No rights, no arrest, question mark. The Miranda rights are not directly connected to the act of making an arrest. Police are working well within the law when they make an arrest without reading the arrested individual their rights. While television drama and movie scripts often link the Miranda warning with the act of arrest, that's not necessarily how it has to happen to be legal. If you can be arrested without your rights, when are police required to read them? Two factors determine when the rights must be read: custody and interrogation. Custody means that you have been deprived of your freedom. Handcuffs are the prime example, however. You don't have to be physically restrained to be in custody. In this case, the reasonable person's standard of felt freedom will determine custody. And I think that's a little bit of what they were hinting at in the latest documents. That's what they were trying to create in those documents, is a violation. How many officers were present? More police translate to less freedom. Or unless it's something like this, right? I will crush you, Richard Allen. We found your bullet. If you are taken into custody, Miranda rights must be read if the officer want to ask questions and be able to use the answers later in court. Interrogation means questioning, and before police can interrogate, the Miranda warning must be read. After the notice of rights is read, police can begin obtaining information. Doesn't this always take place at the police station in a small room? Not always. In fact, interrogation can take place anywhere, at or around the scene of the arrest, in the police car, at processing in the police station. A little bit of helpful information. The O'Neills. What's up? Hey, Sleuth. It's been a while. Been super busy and haven't been paying attention to the case that much. Was Richard Allen's interrogation transcript released or just certain details of it? It looks like just certain details. Let me pull up the rest that I didn't show you. Rick says it doesn't. I'm telling you that there is no way that a bullet from my gun was used in these murders. See, and this is a tactic. This is the tactic that he's using with his confessions now. Even though he knows the girls weren't murdered with a bullet, he's still being his proactive self. I think I've learned that about Rick Allen. He's very methodical. If he's a guilty man. And Jerry Holman says, and I'm telling you that we had this fucking round on February 14th. So that just proves that Barb McDonald was giving us some bullshit information. So you guys be careful how you stack your pancakes. I like mine with a lot of butter. Like every layer needs a little bit of butter. And then maybe like some really good fresh strawberries. Maybe even some blueberry pancakes. You know, not just that those McDonald flapjacks, all dry. Don't eat them like that. And then you need a shit ton of syrup. Maybe two different kind of syrups. Don't eat them dry. Don't stack them to the sky and eat them dry. Don't do that. So Holman already knows he's talking to a guilty man. Well, I'll be, he said. I'll be damned. We have a match, guys. So it was little Ricky this whole time, huh? That makes a lot of sense. Well, let's get him down here. Well, we still have his car. All right, we'll tell him it's ready. We had this round since February 14th, and it's been secured in a fucking laboratory. Oh, so it was in a laboratory? Are the workers part of this Masonic plot? How secure is this laboratory? And that is a legitimate question, because I'm sure that's going to be scrutinized. Brick Allen says, you could have taken it from somewhere, right? He's had plenty of time to think about this, guys. You could have taken it from somewhere else then, because it's not possible. And he's right. You could have. And that's why I showed you guys those videos. Because what he's saying does happen. It was important for you guys to see those videos. Jerry Holman. Because Jerry's just telling him how ridiculous that is. Because it is ridiculous. Well, at least that's what the jury will say. I did not take it from somewhere else. It was logged in. Chain of custody. It was taken and was photographed. You think we took a round and threw it down by the dead girl's foot and then arrested you 5.5 years later? This isn't TV. This is realistic. And Rick, he's not giving up yet. It ain't over. They might be closer, but it ain't over. I'm telling you, I can't explain something that, oh, you're under arrest. All right, let's go to a few more in the chat, and then we're going to get out of here. Good to see you, Dawn. Nana's Gmail. The Saint says, Richard Allen is toast. Take a plea. Not yet. No, we're dealing with a stubborn guy. And that's why Holman was so upset. He was hoping to go in there and be this big superstar. Get him to confess. But if Richard Allen is a guilty man, we're learning a lot about him. We're learning about he's very cunning. He has zero remorse. He seems to only be concerned about protecting his wife's credibility. Is that why he panicked after he hurt the girls? He couldn't bear knowing his wife knew he was a child predator? Or is he an innocent man? But if he is an innocent man, it means that they planted that bullet. And that is a ridiculous thing to say. So I just want that to sink in, guys. I don't know what the new discovery is. I know the supplemental witness list was released today at some point. I don't know if that's out. I haven't gotten a copy of it. I agree with that, J-Do. J-Do? 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 It's funny. Hey, what's up, Jim's mom? Happy Tuesday. Hey, what's up, Jill? Damn migraines. Miss Mala says, how precise is the science of evidence from the unspent round? A lot of people argue against it, but from what I've read, it really depends on the sample. How clear and concise are the striation marks? Because in some cases, they'll have like a partial match. Then it'll be kind of inconclusive. You have both people arguing, well, it could be or might not be. But in this case, I have a feeling it's concise. But I don't know. And I have a feeling that the judge might throw out these this interview. I really don't think it matters. I think if Richard Allen would have stepped into that police station and said, "I'm not saying one word," I still think they would have arrested him. I don't think it boiled down to him saying, "Oh, well, I didn't let anybody borrow my gun. Oh, well, then we got to arrest you. Now we have probable cause." No, I think they already did, and they were hoping he would break down and tell them. And that's what this is all about. So they don't need this. Really, all you have is Holman talking shit anyway. And that's why their first action as his defense team was to try to get rid of that bullet evidence. It's the most damning thing. Now they've moved on to technicalities. They're exploiting any and everything that they can while creating chaos, right? Let's shake it. You ever lost a screw in like an old radio? Shake the hell out of it and it'll come out. Yeah, that's a good point, Don. That's what predators do. We don't have any evidence that he is a predator. That doesn't mean that he's not, though, right? Doesn't mean that he is. It doesn't mean that he's not. Right now, he's a suspected killer. And all they really need is that smoking gun, and they have it. That's why they went from a routine search warrant to us now knowing who Richard Allen is. Saska says apparently there are up to 40 marks that can match an unspent round. Probably more than that. It depends on what's creating the mark. In this case, it would be the ejector. Me too, Sparky. I have good instincts too. Alrighty, we're all caught up, guys. Shout out to you, all of you who were able to catch the live stream. Replay crew, take care. We'll hit the intro, and I'm out of here. And I'll see all my members. I'll see all you guys tomorrow. Until then, peace. Thank you for watching the Sleuth Intuition channel. If you are part of the replay crew, you know what to do. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay in the loop. Sleuth Intuition is 100% crowd-funded. If you want to support me and help my channel grow, here are 3 ways that you can help. Number 1, Cash App. The funds go directly to me without YouTube taking a percentage. Number 2, become a member. Members are by far the leading contributors to my channel. Number 3, hit up the merch shop. Represent the Sleuth crew on these ruthless streets. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. Until next time.